going to get him back on here November 9th, and we are going to talk about his independent musician side instead of just his tribute band to Prince. Let's all get started right here, November 9th, starting 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. More details, go to letstalkaboutthemusic.com.
If you won't protect me, then I will protect myself. I am the decider of everything. I am the destroyer of worlds. You wish you could be me. You wish you could be me. I live in the land of the free. Your loss is my opportunity. You won't take my guns away.
There you go. He's ripping it up on the airwaves, baby.
Yeah, we're all here. We're having a good time. Hey, guess who was that? That was me. That was my song. Ha ha! Surprised you all. That's me, Spider, with a song by me, talking about America. A little tongue-in-cheek there. Figured it would work good for tonight.
What the hell is tongue-in-cheek? I don't even know. You know what? I don't know. I don't even want to know.
You've never heard that phrase before, tongue-in-cheek?
No.
It's one of those things where it's like it's like satirical, kind of like, you know, Mel Brooks movies, like Blazing Saddles. That's tongue in cheek.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, it's that kind of humor. It's just like it's funny and it's kind of offensive at the same time, but it's still funny.
All right.
Well, I don't know. Blazing Saddles might offend a lot of people these days.
That's true. Everyone is being offended by everything these days. Probably offended by your music, Spider.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I don't doubt that. My music has been described as awful once. Would you believe that?
What? By who?
Oh, I don't even know who. I sent a song, and this is kind of digressing for a moment, but we might as well tell the story. I sent off a track from one of my last 2 or 3 albums. I don't remember which one exactly, but I sent off a track to a music service for a small fee that was supposed to send me out to like peer review and stuff like that. And it was supposed to send it out among a group of people who listened to the type of music that it was supposed to be, and to give me like a rating. And I don't think they got it. Like, it wasn't a dance song or like a club song, but I had several comments where people were like, "This is not dance music. You can't dance to this." I'm just like, "Well, no, you're not supposed to." And then one of the comments was just awful. Simply awful. So I've kind of used it as a benchmark and as a compliment since then. I'm thinking about putting it on a t-shirt. Awful. You want to listen to this? It's awful. Yeah. Avant-garde. But hey, so that's enough about me. I am Spider. Shels is here too. She's being awfully quiet.
Yeah.
Awfully quiet.
Yeah. Spider,
she's pleading the fifth. She's
am.
pleading the fifth tonight.
Yeah.
But hey, so there's the two of us. Let's talk about the music. We got a killer show for you, as we were talking about earlier. Joining us right now, we've got Scott from One Man Rock Band. Hey, Scott.
Hey, man. How are you guys?
Great, doing great. Glad to have you on the show.
Well, that's cool. You got the rootin' tootin' white, sexist, misogynist, racist, Nazi, Trump supporter. Scott Gerling, also known as One Man Rock Band, baby.
See, he's got everything all out and about for everybody. So, when you call in later, you've already got that established. See?
Yes, we're just laying the ground rules here, just so everybody knows. They've pretty much painted me into a corner, and I just want to just wave the flag for the rest of us who've been thrown down the toilet. So let's roll and see what happens.
Good call. Well, what we're going to start with, we're going to start in a little bit easy. We're not going to go right into the bombshells and everything right off the bat. We're gonna lead into the good stuff. So we're going to start out with some background. So, of course, you've got a project called One Man Rock Band, and tell us about that. Tell us how you kind of got started with all that.
One Man Rock Band. Well, I've been playing music for a really long time, since I was a really little kid, and I basically a drummer who played through a lot of bands, but along the way learned to pick up the other instruments, guitar, bass, sing, keyboards, and amongst other things, and just threw it all into some toxic soup and started learning how to record it all, like in a really professional way. And to me, that skill right there, the recording aspect of it, where I'm able to record all that stuff in a way that sounds like, oh, hey, this guy hit a studio and it was real, kind of gives me a leg up, and I have it at my house too, so I can just sit down and do it at any time. So that's sort of the abridged version of how I got to where I'm at right now. So I write my own stuff. Sometimes I play some covers that strike me, and then I record them and then blast them out into the stratosphere.
Cool. It's interesting that you mentioned about doing a lot of the recording and everything on your own, because we got into a discussion about that a few shows back about digital versus like analog recording, and about how, for me, even though I do electronic music and everything I do is pretty much generated electronically, I would still prefer, if I had my choices, to have a live band record things in a studio all together as like a live session, because to me it just seems like doing it that way seems like more of an organic, kind of more of an authentic feeling. And it's just interesting that you kind of brought that up, that you lean in that similar direction.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I am the band, and so I can't really... Sometimes I'll practice tunes right before I start playing them, with other musicians, and just to get a feel and listen to actually how other people are approaching music, their music in general. And I'll pick up a lot on that. But really, through the recording process, the way that it happens is you record it in parts. So I'll usually go down, and since I'm a drummer, I'll lay down the drums, and then I'll pick either the guitar or bass and lay that down, and then the next thing is kind of like the vocals, and then there's the tinkling bells on the top and the polish that comes at the end. But each part is a layer on the other, and probably separated by maybe a week, as I'm trying to practice and work out the bugs the whole way through until I have a finished song, which usually takes me, a 3-minute song usually takes me anywhere from 3 weeks to a month to complete as a whole.
And see, that's another good difference too. Doing it, you record everything pretty much like I said, like by hand, so to speak. Whereas somebody like me, I use a bunch of knobs and switches and buttons. And while on one hand I can pump out a track in under a few hours, it will take me weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to tweak every aspect of that to where it needs to be, rather than have it like. I can't just go to a guitar head and like change my knobs around and be like, okay, this is the sound it's supposed to sound like, record it perfectly like this, boom. I can't do that. I have to go back and do all this like extra legwork. So it ends up taking the same amount of time to do a single song as it would have been just to play the instrument the right way I wanted it to be in the song to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ugly truth, really, is you have to play it on about 40 different radio or different speaker systems to figure out if you're actually doing it right. That's the torturous part. You'll get it and you'll think it's perfect, and then, I mean, 20 iterations later, you're still going, oh, that bass drum's still driving me bananas,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple albums ago, I agonized over the mix, and I just, I would take it from my headset to my surround sound to my car outside, and I would just, it drove me nuts, and I finally just had to, throw in the towel and be like, okay, this is going to be the last mix. If it's going to sound good on this and this, that's 2 out of 12 or whatever other I'm listening to, and that'll be fine.
Oh, man. Well, listen. Well, here's the thing. The thing is, after, and I don't know if this happens for you, but it does for me. I'll record a song and it's fresh the first time I listen through it. But by the time I'm done mixing it down, I've already heard it 150 times. So I am, not only am I non-objective anymore, but I'm married to the stupid thing. So of course I think it's going to be the next world anthem that takes the world by fire. And then, you just can't, it's like, I don't know, you can never be satisfied with it. It just takes a long time to get to something that's listenable,
True. Now, since you do a lot of this stuff on your own, do you have, what kind of inspirations do you have that kind of helped push you along this way? Like if you get into a bit of a rut and you're thinking, man, it's just tough week in the studio this week, who are the big names out there that kind of inspire you to keep pushing?
Well, I mean, I'm a drummer, and so I always fall back on the groove because it's what kicks people in the head. So I always listen for some kind of thing that's going to make people, either bang their head or really, stamp their feet. And so it is there. But for guitar players, my heroes are Randy Rhoads, Ritchie Blackmore, Angus Young, Edward Van Halen, Brian May, Jimmy Page. These guys are the ones where I can just sit back and where I pick up a lot of inspiration. Those guys do it. As for drummers, of course, Bonzo, Barry Brandt. He was a drummer for an old band that not really many people know of called Angel, and they were around for a while. Denny Carmassi. Denny Carmassi used to play for Heart. He played on Barracuda. He had that really kicking beat. And then, Neil Peart, of course.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so those are kind of like my touchstones. Those are who I grew up playing to. I'd throw a record on. I'd practice to them. I'd drive my parents crazy with it, and I'd do it until I nailed it. And of course, I would take that into the bands that I was playing in too. But those are my musical, my musicians, the musicians that I listen to, that are my inspiration.
Well, you definitely, listening to your songs, without getting into the content first, because we're going to be getting into that a little bit later, but just getting into the musicianship, they're solid rock tunes. You can put those on and just really rock out to them. And that was the first thing that really stood out to me. You just jam, because they're just good, solid songs.
Well, I'm glad you say that, because I often will turn in my music to professional critics, and I'll get back things like, "You're an embarrassment."
It's awful.